Tuberculosis is caused by a bacteria called Mycobacterium tuberculosis. This bacteria is one of the ones that can cause a disease in the body. So the body has many bacteria, but only some of them cause diseases. This is one of them. This disease is different than other diseases which are contagious through touch. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease, so when a person has tuberculosis and they're gonna transmit it to another person, the person with tuberculosis actually needs to expel those air particles from their body, and the other person needs to ingest them. So, for example, the bacteria can be expelled from the person through air particles that come from sneezes or coughs. Once the bacteria enter into the body, they enter the lungs by way of the alveoli. Those are the tiny little air balloon sacs right here. And then the mycobacterium are engulfed by a large white blood cell called a macrophage. Once they are within the cell, many macrophages get together and they make a granuloma. The bacteria then enter the body through either the blood system or the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is a structure of mostly tissues and a few organs throughout the whole body, which transports lymph. Lymph is a fluid containing infection-fighting white blood cells. So basically the lymphatic system serves as a way for the bacteria to spread throughout the body. Here you can see all the many ways the lymph is spread through the body, and you can see that it goes everywhere. And within the lymphatic system, there are lymph nodes, which are all these little circles throughout the whole body. The macrophages are supposed to stop the bacteria from multiplying and kill them off. And then the mycobacterium actually multiply. Here you can see throughout the whole body that the lymphatic system spreads across most of it. And within the lymphatic system, there are these lymph nodes, which are all these circles throughout the lymphatic system. Thus, tuberculosis is spread. Here on the left, we can see a very early stage of the Mycobacterium tuberculosis being spread. And then in the later stages, it gets to be larger and more macrophages. And here at the end, you can see it's spread throughout the whole lung completely. And this shows that these are the Mycobacterium, and those are kind of spread throughout the whole lung. And once the tuberculosis is within the lung, it has the ability to damage all the nearby tissue along with it, and the lung can almost become non-functioning. And here on the left, we can see that this pair of lungs is obviously healthy, while the pair on the right is ruined. The pair on the right almost looks dry and crumbly, or as others would say, it looks like a rock. It does! Now let's take a look at some of the symptoms of tuberculosis.
Muscle deficiency. Tiredness. Coughing, blood. Loss of appetite. Loss of stamina. Fever. The chills. And chest pain.
Hello. Hi. I'm Dr. Chloe Van Gerpen.
Hi, I'm Mark.
What are you here for today?
I'm just in for a physical.
Oh, we can take care of that.
Oh, I see you went to Augie.
Yeah, it was still a college when I went there.
Oh, you're
What
old
year are
then.
you?
Old then.
Oh, great.
I'm a junior.
Junior. What is your major?
I'm an accounting student.
So you're probably taking an interim class right now?
Yeah, the history of medicine, actually.
Oh, with Preston and Googles. That was my favorite class when I went to Augie.
What?
5 minutes later.
See you next year.
2 weeks later.
I hear you have a cough.
Yeah, I do. It's been about 2 weeks now.
Any other symptoms you've been experiencing?
I've been having chest pain, coughing, fatigue, fever, sweating constantly. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe we need to do some blood tests or something.
That sounds like a great idea. They must have taught you a lot in the history of medicine.
They sure did.
Yeah, so here this shows that he for sure has tuberculosis, and it's caused by the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, and we'll see what we can do. Hi, Mark.
Pyraminamide. What is this for?
This is your antibiotic, pyrazinamide.
Pyraminamize.
No. Pyr?
Minimize.
No. Pyr?
Anemone.
6 months later.
It's been 6 months since Dr. Chloe diagnosed me with tuberculosis, and it ain't looking good, folks. The medication isn't working, and I feel terrible, and it's spread to my brain and my spine, and the doctor says I should get my affairs in order.
Oh my gosh, Dr. Chloe, come quick! Mark's taking a turn for the worse.
What's wrong?
Let's get out.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
This program is brought to you by Red Dead Redemption 2, presented by Rockstar Games.
Let me see your tongue. Say ah. Ah.
What is it?
It's not good news.
I guess that.
You got tuberculosis. Really sorry for you, son. It's a hell of a thing.
What do you mean?
You're real sick. It's a progressive disease, and you'll be... Now, the best thing is rest, and getting somewhere warm and dry and taking it easy. Now, is that possible?
Sure, I can just take my winters in my country club in California. No, it's not possible.
The origin of the white plague is unknown to the world, but scientists know that it has been around since the antiquity. Archaeologists discovered this fact by dissecting mummies from ancient Egypt. In the 19th century, the disease was a huge problem. It turned out to be the leading cause of death during this century. Research shows that in the first half of the century, 300 to 500 per 100,000 people died of the epidemic. If one looks at England and Wales at the time of the mid-1800s cholera outbreak, they only lost 40,000 people. During that same time, 50,000 died of tuberculosis. The man who led the charge on trying to fight the disease was Robert Koch. He successfully retracted the tuberculosis disease from a human and put it into an animal. His research of isolating the disease was groundbreaking. The reason being that people like Louis Pasteur tried to do the same thing with chicken cholera and other diseases. He won the Nobel Peace Prize for his work in 1905. The other two important players in helping the war against tuberculosis were Albert Calmette and Camille Guerin. These two were the first people to find a vaccine that would fight the disease. At first, mortality rates varied, but by 1921 they determined the best strands of the vaccinations. Today, tuberculosis is practically cured in places like the United States and other developed countries, but is a huge problem in the third world countries. Of the 10 million people infected with tuberculosis each year, 1.5 million die. Tuberculosis kills more people each year than HIV and malaria combined, but the disease is often not headlined because it does not impact the richer countries. The emotional impacts of tuberculosis create an ethical dilemma. If patients are being stigmatized, they are less likely to seek treatment and more likely to die. Higher deaths in poor countries raises the dilemma of socioeconomic favoritism. Treating patients from richer countries prior to the infection allows them to avoid infection and stigmatization. Since pre-infection treatment is uncommon in poor countries, tuberculosis is considered a socioeconomic disease with higher impacts on the poorest people.